Hello everyone, welcome to the Character Dive, a show where I dive into the mind of characters from anime, video games, and other sources. Genpei Tomaden, also known as the Genji and the Heiki clans. This was a classic arcade title developed by Namco during the 80s, inspired by real-world events. Despite being a standalone title, this game has made a solid footing within Namco's lore, having many references littered across various games. For this episode, we're going to take a dive into the mind of the main character from that game, Taira no Kagekyo. During the Heian period of Japan, there was a war known as the Genpei War. This took place during the 1100s. This was a war between both the Taira and Minamoto clans. Long story short, the Taira clan lost. As you could tell by his name, Kagekyo was a member of this clan. After his death, he was revived to take revenge against the remaining members of the Minamoto clan. Now picture this. After dying in a war, you're granted a second chance at life to get the drop on the foes who wiped out your clan. Ask yourself, wouldn't you jump at the chance for that opportunity? I mean, this guy doesn't even hesitate to take revenge. Kagekyo's a pretty standard character. He doesn't have too much going on for him, but he does have an interesting design. His face paint resembles that of a phantom, and his armor looks quite unique for something from an 80s video game. As for his personality, there's not much material to go off of, although the material that we do have is useful enough. Ah yes, I can finally talk about this game. Namco X Capcom, an underrated gem on the PS2. One of the many things that I love about this game is that we can get a true sense of the personalities of many video game characters from obscure titles, such as Genpei Tomaden, which we're going to tackle right now. Now, Kagekyo usually has a one-track mind, only focusing on his objective. He's not easily swayed or distracted by his surroundings. He's also surprisingly agreeable. In all truth, Kagekyo doesn't have much depth to his personality, at least from what was shown during his time present within the games. He's kind of shallow, although this in itself can be a unique trait. I mean, he is dead after all. Being killed in a war and brought back to life only to continue the war can make the spirit numb. Even after you clear Genpei Tomaden, he goes back to being dead, only to be brought back in later games. Can you imagine how tiring that must be? You fought in a war, you die, you get brought back to life to continue the war, to be put back to sleep, to be brought back to life to fight someone else's battle, and to die and to be brought back to life again. It's just an endless cycle. It can make you go crazy. If anything, we should feel sorry for this guy. I mean, does he ever get to rest? I guess that's why he has such a stone-cold expression most of the time. Although an undead samurai, Kagekyo still manages to live on through other factors. How so, you may be wondering? Allow me to explain. Let's take a look at Soul Calibur 2. If we look at Yoshimitsu's weapon selection, we can see a sword borrowing Kagekyo's name. Within its description, it mentions that the sword causes the user's mind to be filled with thoughts of revenge. This is just a minor theory, but is it possible that Kagekyo's spirit may be living within the sword? It's been established that Soul Calibur takes place during the 1500s, which is 400 years after the events of the Genpei War. Now we could assume that Genpei Tomaden takes place around the same time that the Genpei War had finished, so let's say about 400 years apart from each other. There's no reason for Kagekyo to be resurrected for anything, since there are many warriors that exist during the time period of Soul Calibur. But what if his spirit was unsatisfied? An unquenchable thirst for revenge? Even though the Minamoto clan was defeated at the end of Genpei Tomaden, Kagekyo may still have a burning desire that has yet to be fulfilled. Or, what if his desire for revenge is so strong that his spirit is incapable of resting? Again, just a theory. Now, there isn't enough material to confirm who Kagekyo was prior to the events of the games, but the game does serve as a fictional continuation of the events from the actual Genpei War. So we can only assume that the story would take the real-world facts into account. Now check this out. I've heard that his rival Yoshitsune of the Minamoto clan was considered the hero of the real-world events. Would that make Kagekyo the antagonist? Now, there are no heroes in war, but considering the context of the story, I guess that's the case. Now, here's a fact about the real Kagekyo. The name he was given at birth was Fujiwa no Kagekyo, but was changed after being adopted by the Taira clan. Just a minor fact that I learned while researching this character. I would also like to add that I appreciate that Namco at least kept him somewhat faithful to his real-world counterpart, instead of turning him into a chick like other pieces of media. Despite not having many appearances, Kagekyo is a pretty cool character. Super underrated. There's a lot of potential with this character, and I don't think it's too late. If Bandai Namco were to make a modern remake of this classic, I'm sure it will do well. Maybe one day he'll come back. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you next time.